welcome. In my previous video, I have talked about my Chevening scholarship journey. I'm going to dive deeper into the nitty-gritty stuff of what it is that you actually have to prepare for substantially when trying to apply for a scholarship. So I have 5 important things that I think you need to pay attention to when trying to hunt that scholarship down. So without further ado, let's go to it. Okay, first thing first, I think you have to have perseverance. And by perseverance, I mean the ability to keep going no matter what the obstacles are. It came from within myself. I knew what I wanted to do and why I wanted to do it. So if you haven't started your scholarship journey, if you're still figuring out why you want to do this, you should just sit down and think to yourself, why is this important for me? Let's say if your motivation is to travel abroad and, take a lot of pictures and post it on Instagram, or basically just to want to look cool, I don't think that's enough for you to want to keep the hard work in finding a scholarship. So yeah, I don't want to say that I don't do that. I mean, of course I take pictures and I travel abroad while I was in the UK doing my master's from a scholarship, but that's not my main goal. And my main goal was actually to really study what I wanted to study, and I did it. So you have to find a substantial motivation for you to keep yourself going and to keep persevere. The university program that you chose is basically your end goal for this scholarship hunting journey. You have to choose the right one, and by right I mean the right one for you and the right one for the scholarship. You have to be very strategic when it comes to this, like what I did. For example, I chose the London School of Economics and Political Science, or as people know, LSE. I wanted to study gender in media, which was offered by LSE, and also I applied for Chevening because I know that LSE is a partner university of Chevening. So I was being a little bit strategic there. You have to roughly measure your chance of getting in. In my case, I applied to probably 6 or 7 universities, and I try to kind of measure my probability of getting in there. And you really need to do a lot of research on it. Look into their faculty members and their values, their curriculum and their modules, and just look at the review from their students. There are a lot of student reviews on the internet, and maybe you can look for someone who graduated from it. I mean, social media is a way for you to seek people who graduated from that same program and ask them, what do you think about the program, about the professors and the modules and the tests and everything. Because getting the scholarship is difficult, but doing the master's degree itself is also difficult. Yeah, just pick the right one, because that will help you prepare your essays and prepare for your interview. So before I tell you about my interview and essay writing tips, I wanted to talk about Coherence. Coherence is having a connected and compelling story from your work and study experience to your current study goals and why you want to study abroad, and finally to your future professional plan. I think some people take this for granted, and I talk to some of my friends who sometimes forget about this. So before thinking about writing an essay or interview tips, I think you have to really sit down and think about the coherence of your overall story. And by story, I mean your background of work and study and your current goal in trying to study abroad and your future goal. Those three things have to make sense and have to support each other. That's basically what I meant by coherent. And again, you're trying to sell your idea to the university and to the scholarship, so you would want them to be convinced. If your story is all over the place and if there's no coherence between your CV, your essays for the university and the scholarship, and your future plan, then it's going to be difficult for you to convince the university and the scholarship to accept you. It's going to be difficult for them to see that you are the right person to accept and that you know what you're doing and you know what you're writing about, because essentially that's what they want to hear. They want to accept someone who can prove that this person know where they're going and that this person know what they're doing with their life, and also that this person has an idea of their future life. Writing a strong essay. So the first thing that you want to do is to start as early as possible. You want to start as early as possible because you want to reread it and you want to review it and show your friends or anyone that you think can review it about their feedback. And you also want to revise it, and after you revise it, you show it again to those people, and then you will rewrite it before you finally get the final document that you will send to the university or to the scholarship. So start as early as possible, because by starting early, you will have more time to research, you will have more time to think about the coherence of your story. The second thing is that you want to have a primary document. What I mean by primary here is the initial document that you will use when trying to apply for different universities and different scholarships. In this initial document, essentially you will have every reasoning and every answers of why you want to study this program, why is it connected with your previous experience, and what is it that you want to do in the future. You want to have this one document that you will use in applying to different programs and different university. Why? This will lead us to point 3, which is customizing your essays. You want to have a customized essay for each application. So for each university, I have a different essays, and also for each scholarship, because you would want your essay to adhere to what they're looking for. You would want to research more on their values and their interests and what kind of candidates that they're looking for. So you have to, from the initial document that you have before, you will customize it, you will edit it in order to match the criteria of each university program and each scholarship. So by having this initial document, you won't have to start from scratch. The fourth thing is to have people who you can trust with reviewing and judging your essay. It can be your friend who's very good in English and can proofread your essay. It can be your boss or your professor. It can be people who went through this process before, or it can be anyone who you think know more about the content of your essay, and probably the experts in your field. You would want to get their review, because after getting your review, you will learn more about your writing and maybe you will pick up new ideas. It happened to me, talking to people and showing people what I wrote actually helped me a lot in deciding, oh yeah, I didn't really want to write this, I want to write that. And I know sometimes it can be scary because it can make you feel vulnerable showing people what you wrote and being judged, but don't look at it in that way. Just look at it as a way to improve yourself and improve your essays. Perseverance will be very much useful in this, because sometimes you will feel, oh, I'm not good enough, I can't write a good and compelling essay. But hey, just keep going, yeah, because you know, it will work out at the end, hopefully. Congratulations, you finally got into the interview phase. That's exactly what it is for me at the time. So they obviously are convinced by your essay at this point. They buy what you wrote, like they buy your ideas. What you need to do is to convince them further to finally give you the scholarship. Yay! Don't be scared, don't worry, just be calm and confident, but not too overconfident, because nobody likes an overconfident person. By this time, you have probably, finished your preparation, you've done your groundwork, you have your essay, learn from it, really read through it. For Chevening interview, the judges will have your application while they're questioning you, so they will have your answers there and then, and if you change your answers, that won't be too good, I think. Essentially, what you need to do is to practice and find a person that you can practice it with, figure out questions that may arise and have them answered, master your application, read your essays, reread it, be coherent. Don't forget the coherence of your whole story, from your education and work background, and then why you want to apply for this scholarship right now, and your future plan. Always remember that, because the questions that's going to arise will revolve pretty much about your past, your present, and your future. So you have to be ready for that. Reach out to someone who's an alumni of that scholarship and pick their brain. Discuss to them about your application. The last bit is to just, be calm and confident and be friendly. Be a good person, basically. Show that you have a good attitude, show that you have a ready attitude, up for challenge attitude. Oh, that's not the last part. The last tip is essentially to conclude the interview by convincing them why you are the right candidate for this. So for the Chevening interview, when they asked me, so Askarina, do you have anything else to say or any questions? I told them why I am good for this scholarship, and I try to convince them why I would be the right candidate and Chevening will not regret accepting me. And again, you have to relate that to your whole story and make it all coherent. Just prepare like a sentence or two, because you don't want your conclusion to be too long and start another interview basically. But that would be my interview tips. Alright, so that was it. Those are all my 5 important things that you have to pay attention to when applying for a scholarship. For those who are currently applying to a scholarship, or those who will apply for a scholarship, I wish you all good luck. And feel free to reach out and ask me any questions regarding Chevening or LSE in particular on the box down below. Like this video if you think that this is useful. Share it to your friends or not. I know how competitive scholarship hunters can be. But I really hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you on my next video. Thanks, bye!